Call Me If You Get Lost, The Estate Sale,
and Scaring the Hose. This is Music Monday, episode 3, and boy, do we have a lot to talk about this week. Alt Boys for the win in hip-hop this week, guys.
For sure. Tyler the Creator, JPEGMAFIA, and Danny Brown just released new albums in the past week. And we just got done listening to them. We have a lot to say about them.
So much.
And we're going to go ahead and start off with Tyler the Creator and Call Me If You Get Lost, The Estate Sale. So we really, really like this album, guys. It was so fun, honestly.
Loved it right off the bat. It was super enjoyable to listen to this start to finish. We just had so much fun. This was like first of all, a Tyler album.
Such a Tyler album, kind of summer vibes.
Super fun. And here's kind of what we're going to get into. We just loved it.
We really did. I felt like this album was a super good collection of like all the styles that Tyler has used in his past albums. In the past, they've all been kind of one direction or the other, and I really loved this album for kind of bringing that all together. He had a lot of variety and a really good representation of his music style and progression.
Yeah, it's almost like the ultimate variety pack of his past discography and all his past work and styles blended into a really cohesive project. And speaking of cohesiveness, that's one thing we also loved. It led you down a really fun musical experience and journey as you listen through this album. We super appreciated that fact that it was an intentional lead along. So we're going to go ahead and jump into the songs and some of the songs we really thought were special.
Yeah, 100%.
Let's do that.
So you can't get these at B-Dubs, but Hot Wins.
Hot Wins.
Featuring
Lil Wayne.
Our favorite.
This one is an honorable mention on the album. It was a song that was on the previous version, right?
Yeah, just the Call Me If You Get Lost, the first album. But we wanted to bring it up just because Lil Wayne's verse in there is so fun.
This one goes so hard,
and
guys.
It goes really hard.
It's hype. Go listen to it. We wanted to honorably mention that song. And with that, we're going to get into the new releases on this album.
So the song that Tyler puts in there to transition from the songs in the first album to the new ones is Everything Must Go.
And this is a beautiful transition track. It's the perfect length. It's kind of short, and it just beautifully leads you right into the new stuff, right into Stuntman, which is the next song we're going to get into.
Yes, Stuntman featuring Vince Staples. So I really, really loved the energy that this song kind of created. I feel like Tyler and Vince are both artists that have a little more diva energy.
Just, a little bit more attitude.
A little bit more attitude in their verses.
On this track, it's very apparent.
It's so apparent. And like,
they're feeling themselves.
They're feeling themselves. It is so fun to listen to for that reason, in my opinion. And I also feel like they both have really classic, unique sounds in their beats, and bringing them together was just such a cool mix.
It was just the best sort of mix or collab you didn't know you needed, but like literally, like Emma said, two of the most really super attitude, kind of feeling yourself energies on one track. The next track we really, really liked.
It was Wharf Talk featuring A$AP Rocky.
Our boy A$AP Rocky.
Our boy.
So this one is super fun, and this was like why we said it was such a summer vibe fun album. A$AP Rocky, like you've never heard him before on this one. Truly a unique verse from him.
Yes, it was kind of really cool to see an artist jump on this Tyler's album and kind of not go completely into Tyler's style, but having to adapt
quite a bit.
The feel of the song, and like it was just so cool to hear him do that, but in his own way. So we really, really liked this song.
We loved that. And here's the thing about Tyler, the Creator, and Emma here. She actually is quite a big fan of Tyler, has been for some time. She brought up something very interesting, a good insight on what Tyler's personality and A$AP Rocky's personality might have been like clashing on this song.
Oh, yes. So just from what I kind of have gathered, Tyler and A$AP are both people that are a little bit more prideful, a little bit more, proud of how they look, how they present themselves, and how they come off to like other people. So having them together on a track kind of surprised me.
There was room for both of them. And I was like, wow, they actually gave each other room in this track, and they were both able to kind of come on it with their own ways and let each other shine, which was so cool. Just knowing both of them. Yeah. No, that was such a unique insight, I thought. And jumping right into that next track we loved off this, and this is side note, the Dogghouse channel official nomination for the most hard song.
Oh yes,
off the album.
100%.
What was that song, Emma?
Dogtooth.
Ooh, very, very nice. So we mentioned about this entire album pure Tyler the Creator, the essence of Tyler, and that is so apparent on this particular song, Dogtooth.
Yes, as soon as this one started playing and Tyler came in, I was like, no, this is Tyler. This is all the music he's made collectivified into like one song. It was so representative of his style and his flow.
100%. Super unique, and honestly, that's what we wanted to say about Dogtooth. It just, we loved that one.
We did. And then we are going to jump into the very last song on this album. You've probably heard of this one, if not any others. Sorry Not Sorry.
Sorry Not Sorry, the final track on this one, and we do want to talk about this for a minute.
For sure. So this was, in my mind, kind of Tyler's outro message to the world
PSA,
as he was ending this album.
100%.
It was so cool how clear I thought what he was trying to say came across.
Emma immediately kind of grabbed the message. She's like, oh, obviously he's trying to say this. And I thought it was super accurate, honestly. I agreed a lot with this take.
For sure. So he, in my mind, in this song, he is saying, yes, I am in fact Tyler the Creator. I create art, I create music, put it out in the world for people to see. It's a part of me, but it's not the only part of me, and I still am allowed to be a real human being and have flaws, having my intimate moments, and no one's allowed to judge me for that because I just am who I am.
And being an artist and creating works of art that represent parts of him doesn't represent the whole him. That's such a good take, Emma. And honestly, I don't know. I really felt that because I think we all kind of need that allowance to make those human errors. We all do.
Absolutely. I think sometimes musical artists are seen as like really, especially artists like Tyler, who are as successful as he is, are seen as like above, the average person, and like they're not like, oh yeah, but they would want to do this because they're like a famous music artist. Tyler's saying, no, I'm just me, guys. I'm just me putting out music.
We love that.
Deal with it.
Message.
So love that message.
Absolutely.
And I think that's all we had to say about Tyler's album, but we are now going to jump into JPEGMAFIA and Danny Brown's Scaring the Hose.
Get ready to get scared, guys. We definitely did on the listen through.
Oh, for sure. Hearts were pounding. It was pretty intense. If you listen to the whole thing through, it kind of gets crazy.
JPEGMAFIA and Danny Brown, Scaring the Hose. We need to preface this one. JPEGMAFIA. Now, I can't even, you're going to have to take this one, Emma.
Yes.
You're going to have to take this one.
100%. I will take this one. So if you've never heard of JPEGMAFIA or listened to any of his music,
oh boy,
are you in for it if you choose to listen to this album or any songs on it. He is a little wild, insane, crazy. You don't hear any other artists like him or do the kinds of things he does in his songs. Truly. But in my mind, that's why I latched onto him so early, and why I just love him and his music and everything that he does. I feel like he pushes a lot, but enough about that. We are going to get into this album, and
Absolutely.
We felt like this album was just a good representation of JPEGMAFIA overall. So he has really, really beat heavy songs.
Ooh, this is a good point. This is something in general with JPEGMAFIA that you're going to get to know a lot of and be very familiar with. We love this.
Yeah.
Beat heavy songs. Kind of explain that concept.
So he basically usually just comes in with a beat. He doesn't use traditional melody loops a ton, but he is able to put so many layers in that beat, make it so complex, and also throw in so many crazy sounds that it almost becomes a melody. And like the way that he layers it all in with his rapping, which is kind of crazy as well, it just creates this whole unique musical experience. It's such a blend.
To put it in basic terms, honestly, the beat literally becomes part of the melody.
Yep.
The vocals, the way he chops his vocals, the way he does his drums, the way he does all the instruments, it becomes one crazy just unit.
Yes.
And that, like Emma said, is apparent on Scaring the Hoes with Danny Brown.
So we're going to jump into some of the songs in this album that we really liked and stood out to us. First, Perfect. First of all, these track names are ridiculous. Yeah, JPEGMAFIA goes stupid with his track names.
Bro.
But like, I honestly love it. And this song, Perfect, goes crazy from the start, guys.
This one's insane. Literally.
It won't make sense at first, and this is something that happens with a lot of JPEGMAFIA tracks. So if you're planning on listening to him, I would keep this in mind. It will not make sense the first 8 or 16 bars. It's kind of thrown all over the place, and you won't get into a rhythm until like the bass comes in or he starts rapping, and then after a few seconds you're like, oh, I'm kind of starting to get this. You have to become like used to it, but once you're used to kind of his style, that kind of switch into just a downbeat, making the track kind of start going, is so cool, and Perfect does a really good job of that in my mind.
It's so representative of that. I love how, I almost was like, oh, this sounds offbeat or incorrect, and then
you'll probably think that,
and then the bass kicks in, you're like, oh, that makes sense. It's super fun to be led along through a song like that.
100%. Another song that we really liked was Orange Juice Jones.
This
another
one was so fun.
Really cool track name. This one is so fun, and we will bring up Danny Brown.
We'll mention him on
track.
This one because he's on every track on this album.
But he really stood out to us in this one. Danny Brown, what about Danny Brown, Rob?
Danny Brown, to me, is a one of one, truly unique artist. You will never hear another rapper that sounds like Danny Brown out there. And whether you love it or you hate it, you can't deny that that's Danny Brown, and that's his sound. And the way we just talked about JPEGMAFIA being a little insane with his style, super unique and out there, outside of the box, Danny Brown brings that same energy, and it's such a synergistic way on this album. Like, it just complements it so well.
That's really true. I feel like Danny Brown has another aspect of like having a really unique style. And I just really like how they come together in this track. And also about this track, Orange Juice Jones, has a really, really clean sample in it, which is so fun to hear because JPEGMAFIA does not sample a ton in his music. So when he does, I super enjoy it. It's done really well, and it's pretty soft compared to the beat, but it still creates, in my mind, a really nice padding for the rest of the drums, like a little back layer, so that JPEGMAFIA can be a little bit more low key, but still kind of rap, and it flows really, really nice.
And this was like the one track where it's like they both brought the most out of each other in terms of new style.
Yes.
Okay, was this our favorite one, this next track?
I think it was.
I really liked this one. This one is Kingdom Hearts Key featuring Redevil.
So this one was really cool. It stood out to me immediately because it highlights the vocals that they chose to use in this beat throughout the whole song. And I feel like we talked about this in the beginning when we were explaining kind of JPEGMAFIA, but vocals is something that he'll chop and add to his beats that really help give it that melodic feel when he's not like sampling or doing something else.
Kingdom Hearts Key is probably the best example of that JPEGMAFIA exclusive kind of trademark sound of the chopped vocals being kind of washed into the whole melody. It's so cool. It's a whole experience. There's so much movement in these songs.
Oh, absolutely. Like there's a flow to them. Some of them there's like
a chop,
and then the beat will switch and then it chops back, but it's kind of seamless, so you don't really realizing that the beat is switching. You're like, oh, it's not a new song. The beat's just kind of going all over the place. So if you want kind of a crazy music experience, listening to a few tracks off this album, we would totally recommend.
Super recommend.
And the last one that we'll say our honorable mention song, God Loves You,
goes hard.
It just goes hard.
Simple, plain and simple. God Loves You off this one goes so hard, guys. It was one of the more like, oh, we could go work out. We could go do something to this song. 100%. You could do that to most of these, but this one was just especially great.
God Loves You. That's about it for Music Mondays this week. Hope you enjoyed hearing about these new albums that came out. Let us know what you think and what music you want us to hear.
Absolutely. Definitely let us know. Give us some feedback. Subscribe for the Music Monday show and also the